Chapter 1. A message that changed everything. The evening light filtered through our living room as my husband and I settled on the sofa. We had just finished watching our favorite show and felt content to unwind. He picked up his phone to check a notification and paused. His face shifted from calm to startled in an instant. He set the phone down, ran a hand through his hair, and stood without a word. I reached for his phone and saw the preview of a message from his mother. My chest tightened. When I tapped to open it, 3 images appeared. The first was a personal portrait. The next showed a private moment. The third left no doubt that they were meant for someone else. My heart pounded as I cleared the photos and handed the phone back. We sat in silence. The hum of the TV felt distant. I chose my words carefully and asked what we should do next. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and said we needed time to process. I nodded, unsure how we would move forward. Then his mother's name lit up on the screen again. A new notification blinked, and a wave of uncertainty washed over me. What could she send next? Chapter 2. Drawing the line. As he placed the phone face down on the coffee table, I could see his hands still trembling. His breathing was shallow, and I reached out to place my hand over his. We both knew the boundary had been crossed. We need to protect ourselves, I whispered, and he nodded. Together we opened his settings and blocked her number. A small act, but it felt like reclaiming control. I mirrored his action on my own phone. No more notifications, no more surprises. For a moment, the room felt steadier. He sank onto the sofa and ran his fingers through his hair. I sat beside him and gently asked how long he'd been holding this in. He looked away, voice hushed. All my life I thought her openness was normal. I never had the words to say no. My heart ached for him, that the person who should have protected him instead blurred every line. We decided to call his sister. Within minutes, her voice crackled through the speaker, offering comfort and solidarity. She promised to keep Emil away from family gatherings, at least until we felt ready to explain. Hearing her support filled me with relief. I wasn't alone in this. Later we sat in silence, sipping tea as the evening light dimmed. The world felt quieter without her messages. I reached for his hand and squeezed it. Tomorrow, he said softly, I'll talk to our therapist about it. I smiled through tears, proud of how we were handling it. Then, his phone buzzed on the table, lighting up with an incoming call. Her name glowed on the screen and our breath caught in unison. What would we do when she tried to call? Chapter 3. Facing the call. I watched him lift the phone with hesitant fingers, his thumb hovering over answer and decline. The screen glowed with his mother's name, an unexpected intrusion into our sanctuary. I held my breath as he finally swiped to decline, sending the call straight to voicemail. For a moment, silence reclaimed the room. He slid the phone into his pocket and exhaled, relief and worry mingling in his eyes. I'm glad we stood firm, I said softly, wrapping an arm around him. He nodded, leaning into my embrace. Later that night, as we prepared for bed, his sister texted, I talked to her. She thinks we overreacted. She might try again tomorrow. My stomach fluttered at the thought of another message or call at dawn. We agreed on a plan. If she contacted us again, we would let it go to voicemail and save the recording. Then, in our next therapy session, we'd decide together how to respond. It felt like a small victory, taking back control of our story. Just as I turned off the light, the phone on my nightstand vibrated. The screen showed a number I didn't recognize. No name, just digits blinking in the dark. My heart skipped. Was she already trying from a different line? He reached over to see and froze. It's her, he whispered, voice tight. The call was coming through. What would she say this time? Chapter 4. The voicemail. He tapped play on the voicemail with a shaky finger. Her voice filled the quiet room, soft at first, almost apologetic, then growing more insistent as she spoke of needing his support and expressing surprise at being blocked. She pleaded that she only wanted to feel close to him, that family should stand by each other. His shoulders tensed as he listened. When it ended, he looked at me, eyes glistening. She thinks we hurt her feelings, he said quietly. She doesn't understand why we distance ourselves. I reached out and squeezed his hand, offering comfort. We agreed to save the voicemail as evidence and to bring it up in tomorrow's joint session. It felt like a milestone, transforming hurt into action. I drafted a brief message we could send if she reached out again. A calm, firm note setting our boundary and asking her to respect our decision. Just then, a light flickered outside the window. I glanced up and saw a car pulling into our driveway, one we didn't recognize. The headlights cut through the curtains, then switched off. A moment later, the doorbell rang. Who could be here at this hour? Chapter 5. A New Beginning. The soft chime of the doorbell echoed through the quiet house. My husband and I exchanged a glance. Neither of us had expected another visit. He opened the door to reveal a calm-looking man holding a plain envelope. "Letter delivery," he said gently, then stepped back and awaited our response. My husband took the envelope and closed the door. We sank onto the living room sofa, the envelope resting between us like a bridge between old wounds and new hope. With trembling fingers, my husband broke the seal. Inside was a handwritten note. "Dear both of you. I've spent the past week in therapy and realized how my actions crossed boundaries I didn't fully appreciate. I'm deeply sorry for causing you distress. I've stopped all social media outreach and will respect your space entirely. When you're ready, I would like to rebuild our relationship on healthier terms. No surprises, no intrusions. Love, Mom." Tears welled in my husband's eyes as he read. Relief washed over him, the first genuine apology we'd received. I reached over and squeezed his hand. For the first time in days we felt calm. He looked up at me, voice thick with emotion. "She's finally heard us." I nodded, imagining the countless sessions it took for her to arrive at this moment. We sat in silence, absorbing her words. The phone stayed silent, the notifications muted. In that stillness, I realized that sometimes the hardest boundaries pave the way for the gentlest reunions. Could this letter be the first step toward healing our family?